Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig, and today we are going over everything we know so far about the new War Zone Octarius book coming out, which will feature a Tyranid supplement. Now, the time you guys will be seeing this, the book will be out for pre-order tomorrow. So that means we have another week. Some channels, lucky channels, will get the book out early, so maybe you guys will be watching a review for this book very shortly after this, but we're going to build up some hype, hopefully, because unfortunately it does look like this is going to be our codex for the next year or so for the Tyranids. It's unfortunate, but we're going to dive into these rules and see if it's something we can use to step up in our competitiveness in Warhammer 40k. At the very least, it allows us a new way to play the Tyranids, some new tricks, and some new strategies that we will absolutely cover here on the channel. So, with all that being said, let's dive into everything we know about War Zone Octarius Book 1, Rising Tide. What we know right now is actually a lot. Not too many specific details, but we do have a lot of information. We know Tyranids are getting our version of chapter upgrades, as I like to call them, as the Necrons have them for their cryptex, Space Marines have them for their key chapter characters. We are now getting Synaptic Links, which we will cover in a further slide, but this is going to be some, hopefully, new rules to further buff our lesser bugs and make the Synapse creatures more important. We have new rules for a Leviathan Detachment. A little iffy on how these are going to play, if it's just pure Leviathan or if it is a special detachment. I'm assuming it's that, a special detachment for playing Leviathan that has limitations, restrictions, but also a lot of bonuses. We'll see GW's kind of done both when it comes to these sorts of campaign supplement detachments. Still some interesting rules, and it might turn Leviathan from being kind of a lower middle of the pack high fleet to one of our most competitive ones. Will it be better than Kronos? We'll have to wait and find out. We are getting Crusade rules. So for those of you who love Crusade for the Tyranids, now we're actually going to get some fluffy, specific rules that Tyranids can benefit from, unlike just the generic ones out of the rulebook. So that's great for anyone who is into Crusade. Happy to see we are finally getting some of those. And finally, a reprint of Blood of Baal. So any of you who haven't bought Blood of Baal or have been just trying to find the rules online or Battle Scribe, now this book will have everything updated, we think, and put into here. So that might lead to some of the stratagems, some of the relics, world traits being updated to fit the FAQs and tied all into here, so you won't need to carry around Blood of Baal and this book, just Rising Tide. We also got this leaked image of the contents of the book. I'm just going to look at a few things. So we do see that it is a Codex Supplement Leviathan. It's got relics, world traits, and stratagems, and Synaptic Hive link. There are 3 pages, so hopefully that means we have a decent number of them. Space Marines have 5 or 6 of them, but Grey Knights have like 12. So maybe there is one for every type of Synapse creature, or maybe it's just the HQ creatures. We'll have to see. And yes, we are getting agendas, requisitions, battle traits, and Crusade relics for the Tyranids. Don't know how many, but I suggest it's going to be pretty close to what you would see in a codex, which is all the more disappointing why this isn't a codex, but it's going to be a stopgap for a while, and it's better than nothing. So let's first cover the big thing that will affect everybody, and that is Synaptic Links. So these are paid upgrades for Synapse creatures, and they grant bonuses through Synapse to the lesser bugs. You can see here we've got 2 examples, and we have a description or a diagram of how they work. So first one, the one that everybody right now is really excited for, is Mystery of the Shadows. This is for the Broodlord. Models in this unit are treated as having the benefits of light cover and heavy cover. Now, do you have to pick one unit? Is it every unit? I think it's just everything. So each time a range attack is made against this unit, excluding monsters, that's key. If the attacker is more than 12 inches away, this unit is treated as dense cover. So now your army is -1 to hit if they are more than 12 inches away, just for having a Broodlord. Now, granted, you have to have the Synapse bubbles, but it'll be interesting. It's 15 points to the upgrade. That'll put the Broodlord up to 140 points, which is pricey for what he can do, but that might be everything we need to make our monsters and everything a little more survivable. Next one, not very fun or great, but it's another one, is the Psychic Aura. While enemy units are within 6 inches of any unit affected by the Neurothrope's Synaptic Link, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic and -1 from combat attrition tests. No, I don't think that's great. Now, you could do some wacky things and pair it with like Rippers and their stratagem, and you could get some heavy minuses onto certain morale checks or combat attrition tests. So that could be good, but it's not typically not a smart idea to plan into combat attrition and morale phase to do the killing. It's 15 points as well. Interesting to see if they're all 15 points, if you can only take one of these, if you can take all of them. I don't know. Synaptic, so this is the diagram that shows how the Synaptic Link works. So you can see they have a Broodlord and they have a Hive Tyrant. Now, the Gene Stealers on the far right are outside of the range of the Broodlord. However, he is within 12 inches of the Hive Tyrant. So the Hive Tyrant will also use Synapse. So that it basically is creating a synaptic web where as long as you can create a daisy chain back to the Broodlord of 12-inch Synapse, or maybe boosting people's Synapse range with that Warlord trait might become more usable. Swarmlord has all the more reason, because he's got an 18-inch Synapse range, all the more reason to take Swarmlord now. Maybe, yeah, and imagine if everyone has these upgrades now, every one of your Synapse creatures is expensive, it's more important, but just think of the benefits you can do. You pair these, the Broodlord with Malanthropes, so now your entire army, including monsters by the Malanthropes, are getting +1 save and -1 to hit. That is crazy. And who knows what the other ones are. I don't know. I love it right now. Now we have the Hive Fleet Detachment, the Leviathan specific supplement. So it gives you new relics, warlord traits, and stratagems, we found out, for playing Leviathan. Typically these attachments have 3 things. They have limitations, drawbacks, and bonuses. The limitation we know is going to be Hive Fleet Leviathan. That is the limitation. The drawbacks we don't know, and the bonuses are all of these, well, what we see here and more. Now, could the drawback be you're just stuck in Leviathan? So it's the drawback is the limitation? That would be awesome. I believe the Sisters is that way. However, if you look at the Admech or Chaos Demons have a weird rule where if you want to take the special detachment, you have to have an equal number of each Chaos God in your army. I hope we don't have anything like that. Admech, if you take their Skitarii Veteran cohort, it's very good, but you can't take any Cult Mechanicus. Hopefully they don't limit the Tyranids to what units we can take, and just be the pure drawback is that we are Leviathan. Okay. So here are some of the things they showed off just to kind of, build up some hype. So Swarm Leader, in your command phase, select one friendly Leviathan infantry, beast, or swarm unit within 9 inches of the Warlord. Until the start of your next command phase, each time this model in that unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. That's it, shooting in combat. It's Chapter Master rerolls you can give to one of your HQs. You give it to your Hive Tyrant, give it to a Tyranid Prime. I think the number one thing we will see with this probably being used are Tyranid Warriors. Big blocks of 9 Tyranid Warriors with Death Spitters, Venom Cannons, Barb Stranglers maybe even, and Bone Swords. All of those now re-rolling all. Now that's pretty good because now you can move, hit on 4s, re-rolling everything. Well, actually, you're hitting on 3s if you slap a Prime in there. You're going to get a 25% damage increase on everything with those Tyranid Warriors. So that's good. Some other units I could see. Raveners. You guys know I've been recently trying to find any way to make Raveners work. That would be very good on Raveners if you give them the Rending Claws and you give them guns. I wouldn't do both, but give them the Rending Claws. They can zip, because they don't have to be, it's just in the command phase they have to be in range. So they can zip up the board after taking that bonus, and now they're getting all of their, if you take a 9-man unit, was that 37 attacks, hitting on 3s, re-rolling everything, still wounding on 4s, but it's a lot more wounds. Great. Synaptic Hive Blades. This one's cool. Not as big of a fan, but it's still cool to have. So model with Bone Sword or monstrous Bone Swords only. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack with Bone Swords or monstrous Bone Swords, invulnerable saves cannot be made against this attack. At first, that sounds great, but then we remember the profile of the Bone Swords, and they are only AP -2, which means if your opponent has a Storm Shield with a Terminator 2+ save, or even a 3+ save, if it is a 2+ save and a Storm Shield, it's a 1+ save, they're still getting 3-up saves against you. If it's a 3-up save with a Storm Shield, like a lot of the Blade Guard, then they're getting 4-up saves, which they're still getting their invuln save. It's unfortunate. Now, it could be good against, you know, smaller units who have just built-in like 5-up invulns, like Harlequins and Dark Eldar. The Skitarii, well, now see, they'd still get their 6-up save, but still, you know, the smaller units that have it, great. But this is a character hunter thing. So the only way I can see this working is if you take it on Hive Tyrant. You also have to give them the Murderous Size adaptation on top of this relic. That will give them at strength 7, AP -3, damage 4. So now AP -3 is actually starting to punch some armor. But now you're putting a relic and a adaptive physiology all into that one Hive Tyrant. Granted, he will do some serious damage to your opponent. Dread Knights, we're coming for you. You're gonna only have 5-up saves against this thing. He will tear your Dread Knights apart. The final one, which is a very interesting one, Gestalt Commander. At the start of the battle round, select one warlord trait from the Hive Fleet warlord traits for this world. Okay, select a warlord trait. You cannot select perfectly adapted for or any warlord trait that this model in your army already has. Okay, so perfectly adapted, I believe, is the Leviathan warlord trait. Until the end of the battle round, this warlord has the selected warlord trait. Replace all instances of the Hive Fleet and change it to Leviathan. So you could so you have your one warlord trait, and you can switch it out for the Kronos one, or the Kraken one, or the Leviathan, or standard one. Maybe it'll come in handy. There are some neat ones where you could get the perfectly adapted one. Not perfectly adapted. The advanced biology or whatever. So if you've taken a wound, you can get 5-up feel no pain. So maybe once you take a damage, you switch to that one, and then you have 5-up feel no pain. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not too keen on some of these yet, but we have to wait to see the full picture. A few other rules just to go over. Crusade rules, like we said, we do have them. It is a little unclear. We know we're getting at least some of everything, but is it going to be full codex worth, or is it just going to be, you know, here's 2 or 3 just to hold you over? I kind of hope it's full codex size, even though it's annoying, but we'll do it. Goodbye, Blood of Ball. So it's going to be reprinted. Now, one thing is to note, I'm curious if they're going to change things from Blood of Ball. So the big thing I'm scared of actually is the Exocrine, the Blood of Ball stratagem, to where he can, well, no, it doesn't matter because they FAQ'd it. So I doubt that's going to change. Yeah, no, I think we're okay. Never mind. Interesting to see if there are any changes, but otherwise it looks like it's pretty straightforward. Here is one little bit from the Crusade rules. I think this is actually really cool. I'm not a huge Crusade player, but if I was, this sounds pretty awesome. Purchase this requisition at any time, which is awesome. Select one Tyranid's high fleet unit from your order of battle that has no battle scars. A little limitation, but that's fine. That unit loses any or all battle traits it currently has. For each battle trait it lost, you can select a new one. Basically, if you're playing a Crusade game against multiple different armies, if you're playing like in a hobby shop, you have this one monster kitted out this way, and you see your opponent like, ooh, he's not going to do anything. I will spend a requisition, downgrade him, and upgrade him to be something that is competitive against the opponent. I think there's no limit to how many times you can do this in Crusade. Again, not a big Crusade player, but that could be really cool, and I like to see some of that fluff from the good old Tyranids lore mixed into actual game rules. So that is what we've got right now. Camera died. So I'll just sum it up. I would not rush out to go buy this book ASAP. I would wait, see what we say about the book, what some other channels, if there are other channels reviewing it, I'm sure there's a few other who will be reviewing it, what they say about the book, and then determine if it's worth your money to go buy it. We are buying it, and we will cover it on the channel for you guys, like I said, so maybe wait and see. Because this is expensive, these books have been coming in at 60 bucks, which is way more than they need to be. They should really be like 30, 40, and they should wait until, it's a whole nother story that, you know, no one's happy with GW's direction in. Either we'll stop the ranting there. Let's get hyped for new Crusade rules. Even if they are behind a bit of a paywall, we're going to get hyped. We want to get the most out of our Tyranids and show that Tyranids are still a force to be reckoned with, even if we are rocking now a 8.5 edition codex with these new rules. We'll see what we got, and stay tuned to more videos here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.